Hey, I'm Doug.
And I'm Loretta. Remember when you were young and you didn't think about tomorrow, you just lived for today?
A little while back, we had a pretty good health scare and refocused on each other and living life instead of just living.
So we bought an RV and we sold our house.
We're going to spend the next 2 years taking a cross-country road trip, and we're taking you
Along for the ride.
All right, little update. Emergency alerts on our phones went off saying we were in a tornado warning, and we headed to the fire station closest to the campground and away and out of the path. But it looks like on the radar that it has passed the camper now, so we are going to head back. So thinking about it, we had that emergency alert come across last night, and Texas got hit pretty hard. There's a tornado touchdown in New Orleans yesterday, all part of that same storm. And even though we couldn't move the camper out of here yesterday, so we had to just leave it, I was kind of thinking, even if we could, like, how long would the batteries last, would the generator start? And I honestly haven't test fired the generator in at least 6 months, so I couldn't even tell you how far we would have been able to make it down the road without being able to be hooked into a campground. So today we're gonna unplug the camper from the pedestal and see how long it takes for the batteries to run down to empty, see how long it takes the generator to charge everything back up, see if the generator's even gonna fire, all kinds of preventative maintenance and peace of mind maintenance, so that we have the answer to all those questions. So we're gonna go unplug the power pedestal and start off with that, and we'll check some stuff on the generator, check the fluid, check the air filter. And once the batteries drain down, then we'll fire the generator up and see how long it takes to get everything charged back up and running again. But while the battery is continuing to drain down, we are going to check the generator fluids and filters and stuff like that. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do is check the air filter, make sure that's not all gunked up and nasty. It actually looks really good. There's no leaves, and pleats are all still nice and white. Looks good. So we're just going to go ahead and put that same air filter back in. And we're going to move on to checking the oil. Oil's good. While we are waiting for the batteries on the camper to die, we are just going to go about normal life. So it's an actual true test of actually being in the camper and not just a dry test sitting in a parking lot and waiting for the batteries to go dead. So we'll be opening the refrigerator, getting a drink here and there. We've got some of the lights on. You can turn on the water pump and do some dishes, so we get an idea of actually using the camper and the time that we've got with the batteries. All right, so we are at 5 hours and counting. It keeps teetering between 2/3 and 1/3 on the power meter. More than enough of a test to make me confident that we're going to be fine for boondocking. And in the 5 hours that we've had to kill time today, I was actually reading up on different types of batteries for RVs and things like that. And the type of batteries that we have, you actually don't want to completely discharge. So we're going to go out and we're going to fire the generator, test fire that, make sure that works. 15 minutes and we've got a full charge. So that's really not bad. So I would say sitting overnight, letting the refrigerator run, no lights going or anything like that. We really shouldn't have too much power draw. When we get up in the morning, we can fire up the generator, make coffee while we've got the 120 volt power. And by the time the coffee maker is done making coffee, the batteries will be full and we should be good to leave the camper for the day. So not a bad test. And so far, everything's gone well. All right, so while we are plugged in at a campground, one thing that we highly recommend is having a good surge protector. Especially on a night like last night where the power is in and out because of a storm or any kind of power surge. This will trip before it sends that power surge into your camper and blows up your appliances. It's gonna run a check through your power, all the legs of your power, before it actually sends the power down and out and into your camper. Not saying it's cheap, but it is well worth the peace of mind. Finally got the new jack installed, got the errors cleared out, got everything put back together, hit the auto level button, and everything went smooth as silk. So now we are good to go. Camper's nice and stable the day after the storm, which, well, too late for that, but Now it'll be nice and stable again, and when you hit the auto level button, it works, it goes up. No catastrophic failures, so we're going to call that a win for this week. I did make a how-to video on how to replace the jacks, which I will be posting tomorrow, and get the jacks back operational so that you can get yourself back on the road. And you only need a couple tools to do it. So we are at our next stop, our first stop in Mississippi, and we are staying for free at an alligator farm. So we're going to go hand feed alligators and take an airboat ride and do alligator stuff.
In the swamp.
In the swamp. Just did the airboat ride through the marsh.
Yeah.
That was really cool.
Yeah, the boats move way different.
Yeah.
It was unexpected.
Yeah,
But
just kind of skims across the surface and like power slides all over the place. It was really a cool experience. So definitely check out an airboat ride if you have the opportunity.
yeah.
Just like that, we are all alone on a gator farm. Just us, the dog,
And the game.
and the alligators that are right there is where we took our airboat ride from, so the alligators are right there. So hopefully they don't smell the steak we're cooking and decide that they want it, because I'm not fighting the alligator to keep a T-bone. But this is pretty cool, so if you guys check out Harvest Host, there's some really cool spots you can get to, like this Gator Ranch. You know, a lot of wineries, distilleries, all kinds of really cool places on Harvest Host, free night of camping. And if you're checking off something you were gonna do anyway, then you're not really increasing your budget at all. But we're gonna finish making our steak, hopefully keep it away from the alligators, and then we're gonna sit here and just enjoy the peace and quiet of being the only ones here.
Okay.
Good morning.
It's not morning yet.
It's almost morning. I mean, it's close. It's technically morning. It is now 4 a.m. local time. We've been up since about 3 when our battery alarm started going off. Guess we made it most of the way through the night. So we had to get up and fire up the generator to charge the batteries, which has been running for an hour now. And it's still only up to 1/3. So hopefully it doesn't take too much longer to charge that up, because I would like to go back to bed. So that whole going back to bed thing, not happening. It is now 5:30 in the morning. Shut the generator down because it had been running for 2 hours and there had been no change in the batteries. And went in the basement compartment and took the wall panel off to get to the charger for the batteries, to find out that there is a blown fuse, so they weren't charging. So on the plus side, there's 2 auto parts stores right down the road, so we just have to wait for them to open. We can get the 2 fuses and replace it, and then we will be back up and running. And we weren't in the middle of a national forest when we ran into this issue, so we're gonna call this a win for the day, although it was a crappy way to figure this out. So, all right, got the fuse replaced in the battery charger.
Yep.
Battery's charged up, good to go.
Packed up.
Packed up, pulled
Hooked
out.
up. Pulled out.
Gator Farm was awesome.
It was. It was a really
Very
cool
cool.
stop.
But we're probably gonna look into getting some sort of solar panels for a backup in case we ever have a fuse burn out while we're in the middle of nowhere, because that would be really inconvenient.
It was a good practice run.
Yeah,
It was a good
definitely.
practice run, and we both look forward to doing boondocking again in the future.
Yep,
But
got some good data out of it. So. But for now, we are going to Nolan's to check off a bucket list and see what there is to do down in the Big Easy.
Yeah, nothing to really see.
Pretty boring town. Really, though, we had a good time. We did also get to meet up with Corey and Des.
Our very first friends when we moved into the RV and went full time. So that was really, really cool.
Yeah, we made friends with them within 10 minutes, 15 minutes of pulling into our first campground ever, full-time life. And
right. So it was really cool to be 2,000 miles away and get to see them again.
yeah, really awesome. Good hanging out and seeing them again.
Made sure we had some good crawfish for dinner too. So
definitely.
that was a big win.
But now we are actually going to head out of New Orleans and kind of up to the woods and away from people
Away
for
from
a while.
people for a while.
We'll go stay in the Kisatchie National Forest, do some Bigfoot hunting,
some boondocking.
Some trail hiking, and just kind of get out in nature for a while. We checked a couple bucket list items off here, and now we're looking to just kind of slow things down and
take it easy.
Get easy and out in the woods.
Right.
Away from the big easy, because what a party.
Yeah. Well, it's a little bit much.